Get ready. Get ready. You are about to join the crypto revolution. The crypto revolution. This is the Crypto Mastery Podcast with Kevin Jones, where we talk about the future of money and elevate your knowledge in the space.
What's up, guys? Kevin Jones here, and I'm super excited to talk to you guys today about two amazing things that I love in Ethereum. One is Scaffold-ETH. We're going to be talking about Scaffold-ETH version 2, and the other thing is the graph. Okay, some of you may know I am a graph advocate. Love the graph, huge fan of all of the technology that they are building, and I'm going to talk specifically about a special branch of Scaffold-ETH 2. So not only do we have a new version of Scaffold-ETH 2, we've got a new branch that integrates directly with the graph, and we're going to talk about specifically how you can set it up, what's in it, and what's useful in that kind of setup and why you would do something like that. I wrote a blog post about this. You guys can check it out. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description. But in this blog post, I go into a little bit more of the detail about what is Scaffold-ETH 2 and what's difference between the original Scaffold-ETH and this version. Things like, NextJS, RainbowKit comes with it, Wagmi. It's also based on Typescript. And it's just kind of a little bit quicker, a little bit leaner, and so I definitely highly recommend checking it out. It's got all of the kind of sweet, awesome stuff that you would expect from Scaffold-ETH in it as well, and so you can get up and running quickly. And then I also talk about the graph and why the graph is very important in this kind of story of decentralized applications and using the graph as this kind of way to quickly query your data and kind of access your data for your smart contracts and for the blockchain. And then I kind of walk you through step by step what it looks like to actually set up Scaffold-ETH 2. What the dependencies are, what commands you need to run, how to get the special package or the special branch of Scaffold-ETH 2 that has the subgraph support. Everything is available on GitHub, so if you go to Scaffold-ETH's GitHub page, there's a special branch now or repository of Scaffold-ETH 2, and then within there you can search under the different branches for the subgraph package. So it's listed right there, and this is the version that you're going to want to check out if you're interested in using the graph and Scaffold-ETH 2. And again, it has everything you need. All the code's already written for you. Thank you, Simone from Edge and Node. He wrote most of this, and it's really exciting. So check that out. I've kind of already set it up for you guys here ahead of time, so we don't have to go through that. The blog post walks you through that, but you can see here that I have 4 windows open. The first one is obviously Hardhat. The second one over here in the corner is React and Next.js. And then this one on the bottom left is my Docker containers. So I'm going to show you the Docker file here in a little bit, but the beauty of Docker is that we use Docker to spin up all of the graph infrastructure so we can kind of simulate the graph on our laptop. And then this last window is where we do our kind of like subgraph deployments and deploy our smart contract and do things like copy the ABI around if we need to make changes to our subgraph. And so that's kind of why you always have 4 windows open with Scaffold-ETH. But I digress. Let's go into a little bit of the details of Scaffold-ETH 2. So Scaffold-ETH 2 again is written in Next.js. It comes with a lot of the stuff that you already need, like you normally would if you're going to build a dApp. But one of the things that was kind of lacking was this kind of API method to query data. And so this special branch of Scaffold-ETH 2 that has the graph integration is really useful because when you're parsing events in your smart contract or in your front end from your smart contract, it's usually really, really slow to do that. And so the benefit of using the graph is you can just do one simple GraphQL query that you get the data that you want in that query and then display it in a real quick way on your front end. And so I've kind of already gone through here, and like if you go to debug contracts, you can see where your greeting is, and you can see who's the owner of the contract, and you can kind of start messing around with the functions. I've gone ahead and I've already set the greeting to I love the graph, and I did that a couple times so that we could just kind of get some data into the graph. And again, we've already kind of spun up the infrastructure for the graph as well, and so we can go to localhost port 8000 and we can go to the subgraphs and then the name of the subgraph that you have. In this case it's Scaffold-ETH and it's your contract, and we can actually start writing some subgraph code. We could explore in here if we wanted to and use this kind of GraphQL Explorer, which is really, really useful, let's just grab a query we know is going to work. So I already kind of go over that in the blog post. Let's grab this one here. Let's copy it. And let's see if we can find that data that from the updates we did earlier. So here we go, hit play, and boom, there we go. So I got 2 endpoints, or 2 responses back in my data structure, and there's 2 different greetings. Both of them say I love the graph. One has just 1 exclamation mark, one has a ton. And so you can see this is really useful because we could make changes to it. Like let's say we didn't really care about the value or the premium. We don't care about that. We can just kind of malform our data. We also don't care about the sender. And we can kind of just play with our data and get just the data we want using GraphQL. And then in our front end, as we parse that data, it's available. So let's take a look at real quickly at the Docker Compose file. So again, everything for the graph runs in Docker Compose. One of the beauties of Docker Compose is you can specify multiple containers that you want to spin up, or multiple images, or container of those images. And you can spin up all your environment variables, your ports, your dependencies, your volumes. And so all that's written for you. You don't have to worry about it. It's set up. And so that's exactly what it's going to do. It's going to spin up the graph for you. It's going to spin up IPFS for you. It's also going to spin up Postgres, and it's going to connect them all. So you can just run that simple yarn run node command, and it will spin up the infrastructure that's outlined in my blog post. And then you're up and running, and you're able to kind of start toying around. And again, you don't need to know Docker. Docker is a great tool to understand, but you don't really need to know it. And so that lets you kind of focus on just building your dApp and kind of start building out features and functionality. And so this is a really great starter point actually for if you want to start building your own decentralized application, or perhaps you're joining a hackathon at like ETH Global or something like that. This would be a good solution for you to start integrating with Scaffold-ETH and the graph together. So I hope you guys found this video useful. I'm going to be posting more videos like this about the graph, about Scaffold-ETH2, and other partners in the Ethereum ecosystem that help kind of bring up and prop up the ecosystem. So I'm excited to do that. And I will still be posting my podcast as well. I got some podcasts lined up already for this next few months. And so please subscribe, like this video, and follow along. And I hope to catch you guys next time.